Hey guys, how's it going? It's Tanev here. Welcome to this first episode of this NHL 22 Draft to Glory series here on my channel. If you guys are new to Draft to Glory, we'll go over the rules in a second, but as you can see, we're going to be using the Newfoundland Growlers as the 33rd expansion team. We're going to be using custom rosters, and of course, I have the Growlers kind of set up already. I'll go over them in a minute and show you the jerseys and what we're working with here, but we are doing a very standard Draft to Glory series here. I wanted to start one for a while here. Got the Halifax Huskies as the AHL affiliate here. So this is how the Huskies look. Logo and branding's pretty straightforward. The uniforms I did actually spend a little bit of time on, but overall, they look pretty good. Pretty standard, pretty basic, but I do really like how these look and how we're set up here with Halifax as the AHL affiliate. So that is the team. That's the arena that we're going to be using in the AHL. Obviously, we're going to be developing players through the draft and through the AHL mainly. And of course, Newfoundland is without a doubt going to be in the Atlantic Division. And just to confirm that everything else is lined up there, looks good. So yeah, Newfoundland is the 33rd team. And we are good to go. All right. So as far as the career goes, we're not going to play owner mode. We will play with salary cap on, no fog of war, and we're going to do expansion draft exemption. So with all of those settings figured out, let's go into quick settings here. Just get my basic kind of franchise mode settings figured out. So we are going to go superstar. We're going to do hard trade difficulty because we're not going to be making any trades. I'm going to have no scouting done because I'm going to be doing that on my own. Apart from that, looks pretty good for quick settings. In the advanced settings, we're going to bump up a couple things here. So sim engine scoring, draft class quality, and prospect generation quality are all going to be up. And apart from that, looks pretty good. I'm going to turn off morale meetings just because they get extremely annoying throughout the season. And as far as sliders go, injuries, same exact thing as far as they just they drag out a season. So we're going to start on 10. If I find that they're too bad or too long, as far as getting a season sim done, I'll let you guys know and bump them down to 5. But that is pretty much that. We're good to go here. So let's get into this Newfoundland Growlers Draft to Glory franchise mode. I'm really excited for this. I think the team's going to be fantastic to use. They're going to be fun to use, and let's get into the rules here for this. So, as far as Draft to Glory goes, we're going to be playing by the pretty standard rules of Draft to Glory as far as 1, we can only draft undrafted players or the worst player from each expansion team at the draft, or from each team at the expansion draft. We can acquire players one of 2 ways. 1 is through the draft, and 2 is through undrafted free agents that we can sign. The third rule is that we can only obtain other teams' draft picks from RFA offer sheets. So if we have a player become a restricted free agent and then another team offers that, we can take the compensation. But that's the only way we can acquire other teams' picks. Fourth rule is that we can add X factors to players based on their overall benchmark. So at 81, we can add 1 X factor. 83, we can add 2. 85, we can add 3. 87, we can add 4. At 89 overall, we can add 5 X factors, and if they hit 90 plus overall, then they get a zone ability plus 5 X factors. So you guys are going to have to help me out in the comments with that. But apart from that, we're not going to have players hitting 90 overall within the first 2 or 3 seasons probably, so that is going to be kind of the fastest part of this series. And we have some goals here as well that I've kind of set for this team. So one is to obviously go all 25 seasons throughout this franchise mode without ever making a trade. The second would be to win a cup within the first 15 seasons, so 15 years to become a contender. I think that's a pretty reasonable goal. Our third goal is to win a Calder Cup with our AHL team, which is, of course, going to be the Halifax Huskies. And then our fourth goal is to build a dynasty and win 5 or more cups by the end of this series. So lots of goals, lots of benchmarks and stuff that we hopefully we'll be able to hit with this team, but it's going to be a matter of how does the draft lottery treat us, because that is kind of going to be the biggest thing here. So as we advance here a little ways, obviously, expansion drafts got to take place first, but we're going to find out Obviously, we don't know yet if we win the lottery or not, but we'll find out in a second. And it doesn't say because that's just how this works. So I think it's the Arizona pick that has been like deleted. That's where there's like a bit of an issue there. So let's just stop up here and we can check the draft board. This is a trick for you guys to see where your draft pick lands. And we're going to be picking at 4. Okay, so maybe we do take that goalie. I didn't show you guys the draft class yet, but the top of the draft looks really good. So honestly, one of the best drafts I've seen generated here. So if we're picking at 4, we either get Nicholson, who actually looks really good, a 6'3" right-hand shot defenseman, might not be a bad idea, or this goalie here in Harrison Jones. So I doubt we get any of these top players. Is that Alex? No, it's Andrei Ovechkin. Okay. But yeah, Morrow looks insane. Yeah, he's like, oh man, okay. There's a lot of good players in this draft, and I'm sure we'll be able to find a couple others here too, just from doing some basic kind of review of the draft and the draft class and players available, but we'll see. All right, so let's begin the expansion draft here. I'm going to just fly through it quickly and then kind of wrap it up for you guys at the end, but overall, I think this, we're only going to be picking undrafted free agents, or exposed players, and I'll show you guys the roster when I'm done picking it. All right, guys, so we're only taking up about $40 million of cap space currently with this team. This is what we've picked. So Laterra, Labushkin, Nosek, Kajula, Tanev, Militek, Carpenter, Francouz, Kukin, Glendening, Stetcher, Ryan, Vatrano, Lizotte, Sturm, McNiven, Luff, Gambardella, Green, Goudreau, Zaitsev, McEwen, and then Rodriguez, Simic, Bozak, Ruta, Kampf, however you say his name, Hunt, Coghlan, Copley, and Dillon. So, not a bad roster. It's not a great roster, but it's a completely undrafted roster, right? Like, all these players never got drafted into the league. We're hopefully going to be able to land a couple free agents, but first things first, we're going to get to the draft. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm sure we're going to miss on a couple picks, but I'm thinking I'm going to be leaning more towards the defenseman with our first ever pick. We are picking 4th, and it's either going to be between the American defenseman or the goalie. And looking at the two, I do think that a 6'3" two-way defenseman is going to really help this team out. He might even be offensive, just looking at what he has. So yeah, I think Nicholson is going to be our first pick, even though Jones looks really good too. All right, guys, so I did kind of go through and try to just pick out who we're going to pick here. Looks like, yeah, the top 4 picks all go exactly where they're expected to. They're all really good looking picks too. So I know you guys are probably going to be screaming at me for passing up on a franchise goalie, but we're going to take Taylor Nicholson. I just think he's going to be a more important piece on our team. Not only that, but he's 77 rated with full-blown X factors, which doesn't happen very often on defensemen. Never mind, he's just a massive two-way defenseman to start with. So I really like that pick. I'm happy with that pick, and that's not a bad start. All right, so looking through the rest of the first round here, and it actually was a pretty decent first round. Mickelson turns out to be a great player, potential-wise anyways. Same with Nishushkin. Some nice pickups there for Minnesota, and who else drafted? Minnesota and Nashville. Okay, so the Central Division loads up with some talent. So I'm going to take Spruev here, or Spruev, however you say his name. It's a weird Russian name, but Vyacheslav. And, he's a low 6. Okay. I was hoping for a low elite, and that's not the case. So, doesn't really look like there was too many low elites available here anyways. So, Brooks was a decent starter, but apart from that, didn't really miss out on too much here, which I'm okay with. So, next up, I'm trying to stick with like 2-bar plus players. It's not always the case, but it's what I'm trying to stick with. So we're going to draft Jurgen Busch, or Bush. I'm going to say Busch. Jurgen Busch here. 5-year ETA, but he fits the same kind of system fit Nicholson fits, so they could be a really good pair together eventually, so I'm going to draft him. And he is a low elite. Okay, finally we got a low elite. There's not been too many apart from the first round here, so that's a good pick in the third round for us. I will take that all day. So over to pick 102 now. And I can't actually remember who I pinned here. I think it's a bit of an off-the-board pick again. Yeah, passing up on MacArthur and Ross. So keep an eye on them. They might turn out to be something. But, again, going with the 2-bar estimate, we're going to take Luke Blacker here from the U.S. West. And he's a low 6 grinder. Okay, so, again, another low 6 forward. Not exactly the best, but we'll take it. You know, the potential's kind of there. It could be better, but it also could be worse. So, at pick number 135 now? Yeah, 135. I probably should show you guys the rest of the draft. I will in a second, but I'm going to take Silvegaard. Is that who I listed? Yeah, Silvegaard. Okay, so Magnus Silvegaard, 47 rated fringe starter. That's not great. So yeah, that could have been better as well, but you know, you look back through here this last round, Bickle was about as good a goalie as you're gonna see. Keppen was okay. 65 rated is actually pretty decent. And yikes. Okay, so not much really going on here. So that fringe starter isn't even that bad a pick, but it just looks really bad because there's no talent in these later rounds. Okay, so pick number 168 now, and nothing crazy. Nobody really crazy getting drafted here. Oh, no, low 4 in McBride. Missed that one. Oh well. That would have been better than what we drafted, but I'm going to take Ben Fukafuji here. Interesting American name. And he's a low or medium bottom 6 sniper. So again, just not a lot of talent in this draft, but that's okay because, you know, hopefully future drafts will make up for it because really we've definitely seen better first drafts in the past where there's actually like low elites to kind of pick out here and there, but not very many super talented players this year apart from the first round. So for my last pick of the draft, I have somebody pinned. I cannot remember who he is. Oh yeah, Winchester. I'm going to take Elliot Winchester. I know it's an off-the-board pick. Okay, and he's a low 9. Okay, so that's actually not terrible for a 7th rounder. But again, you know, probably could be better, but I can't really complain. Again, there's just not much talent in this draft. So, all right, that's it for this draft. Don't see any low elites get taken there late in the 7th round, so that's okay. Got to be happy with Nicholson and Bush, and that's about it. So as we get into the off season here, I don't know what the plan of attack is going to be here exactly with the rookies. Obviously, we are going to have to re-sign a lot of free agents here on this team because they are on expiring deals, and you know, I'm just going to kind of upgrade their contracts simply based on the fact that we want these guys to stick around for a little while. We aren't going to have rookies developing so fast that we're going to have to pay them like huge money right away. So I think it is worthwhile to upgrade these guys' contracts by at least $1 million each, especially the guys that don't want to stay. And because of that, it's going to eat into the cap space and not end up giving us the salary cap penalty when you're like too far under the cap that it like just starts adding money to players' contracts without your consent. So that's annoying, but it happens. But you know, we've got a pretty below average undrafted team here, which is okay because we're gonna try to, you know, land players like Shane Wright and Conor Bedard in the future, but we'll see what happens as well, right? So Drake and Jula definitely needs max two-way. Ryan Carpenter can get like $2.5 million. I'm going to give Andy Green. Oh no, he wants 2 years. Okay. I think we have to do one contract that's just like a massive deal. I don't think Lizott's going to be that guy. I think we're actually going to like offer him a legit contract. Labushkin, sure. McEwen. These guys all want like 2 or 3 year deals, which I'm okay with. Alright, so I think we are going to sign Nicholson. He's just, he's good enough that he'll play 1 year in the minors with this team most likely. And then we'll hopefully have him NHL ready by then. Apart from that, I'm just trying to decide which player we're going to pay the really, really big money to, because we have to offer like a $16 million contract or so, if not more than that. But I'm also just signing all of our rookies right now to fill roster space. That's kind of the main goal here. So let's go with Francouz. We'll offer him $16 million about. If we need to offer more than that, then we'll figure it out. I'm going to offer McNiven, and then I'll figure it out with Copley too if we need to sign him. Silvergard will sign just as a backup goalie. And alright, we get Laterra, Kajula, Carpenter, Francouz, Kukan, Stetcher, Vatrano, Lizotte, Sturm, Green, McEwen, Labushkin, Rodriguez, Bozak, Ruta, Hunt, Militic, McNiven, Luff, Winchester, Blacker, Fuji, Nicholson, Bush, Silvergard, Spruev. Alright, so pretty much everybody. And okay, we only have 11 million left. Okay, it was a little bit lower than I was expecting to come in at, just because there are some free agents I want to sign to. But okay, we get Phoenix Copley for the $1 million, and I think we are ready to go with this team. Apart from, I am going to go sign a couple extra undrafted free agents here in free agency. So let's get to this. I'm really excited for the Growlers team that we're going to be able to put together. They're not going to be crazy or anything, but, you know, I don't know if they're actually going to, they might surprise at least a couple teams, if not more than that, as far as just beating teams more often than they probably should. So with all of that in mind, the first guy we're going to pursue here is Dominik Kahun. No question in my mind that he is worth the 2.3. I'm going to pay him 2.5 just to make sure we get him. Apart from that, Tachev, I'm going to sign as well just because he's got some X factors and I think he's going to be good. Along with that, I'm wondering, is Giordano available? Because if he is, yes he is. Okay, so Giordano's $4 million bucks, but again, I think he'd be worth signing. $5 million for 2 years. Let's do that, and then there's got to be some goalies. I think Georgiev. Yeah, Georgiev will sign as well. He looks really good. So, all right, I think that's it. I don't think we really need, maybe like Nola Chari. That's like the one other guy I can think of that might be a decent signing. Yeah. Because Chari's 29 and undrafted. So let's try to get him too. We'll see who we get, see who we don't get. I'm sure like Giordano would much rather go off to Pittsburgh, but let's see what happens here. So as we advance a couple more days, I'm really hoping we get Kahun at least. Okay, so we get a Chari. We get Georgiev. We don't get Tachev, which sucks, but that's okay. We get Kahun. And do we get Geo? No, we don't. Okay, so, you know, little undershot as far as players I thought we were going to land. But again, that's okay, because $7 or $8 million in cap space isn't the worst thing ever. And along with that, we could probably go and offer another decent sized contract here to a guy like Sevier, or not Sevier, like Aston Reese. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. So Aston Reese 1 year, offer him like the full $8 million that we can offer. He should definitely take that. And let's get to the next season, get the team sorted out quick, and then get Simmon, because I want to kind of get to the point where we're like just before the draft lottery, we have all the results of the season determined. And then that's where we'll wrap up the episode. All right, so some more good news here, just looking at the lineup as far as Bush and Nicholson both play a hold line cycle. So that's definitely what we're going to be building around for the future. with this team. Apart from that, maybe we will throw Silvegaard in over McNiven. I don't really care how good or bad the team does in our first season here. But looks like we actually filled a whole lineup as well, which is usually not the case as far as what happens with, lineup management and things like such. But interesting looking group of players here too, just as far as what these guys might or might not be able to do throughout the season. And how's the defense down here? Yeah, okay, it's pretty good. I can't really complain about that. So yeah, we'll play that +3 on the top pairing. Let Nicholson and Bush play together. We'll play Bush on the bottom pairing. So that's the group. That's the team. Our NHL team could be better, but again, not really the worst case scenario ever. It's an expansion team. We're not expecting to do well in the first year, so we're not going to set a captain, even though Tanev has the C. We'll just give him an A for now. And yeah, that's the group. So let's get to simulating here. I do need to set up some scouts quickly as well. I'll get all that kind of sorted out off camera, and then we will get into the season sim. Alright guys, so at this point I've got all my scouting done, all the scouts are hired, we're all set up, and we're going to just sim to the regular season, see how our team looks. I don't think they're going to be very good, but that's okay, because again, we're not expecting a lot out of the team this year. So let's just see what the draft class is looking like so far. So Cooley looks like he's going to be a top end pick. Apart from that, I don't recognize Cavasari, so we'll keep an eye on him. And, well, apart from that, I don't think we're going to see too many really crazy steals or things like such going on, but you never know. Every now and then players just turn out to be way better than you expect, and, that's not a bad thing. So we'll see how well our team does as well, because really the Growlers don't look all that threatening this year, but at the same time, we still have 86 defense, 83 goaltending. We can win games defensively. Oh, also, I didn't show you guys the jerseys yet. So that's our home. There's our away. Very Vegas kind of looking team, but I'm okay with that because that's what we were going for with this Growlers team. So yeah, there you have it. That's the team we're working with, the jerseys we're working with. And should be an interesting year. So I will see you guys at the end of the season to wrap up all the stats and everything. Alright guys, so this year the Growlers finished with a 21-46-15 record. Like worse than the league. It's not even close really. The next closest team, actually it was kind of close. St. Louis and Dallas were within 10 points of us. Montreal was pretty pathetic too. Lots of teams were very good. Even the Oilers were bad. So interesting group there. Tampa looks like they're going to be the President's winners. And yeah, we'll sim through the playoffs, show the results there. As far as the AHL goes, the Halifax Huskies actually make the playoffs, so that's interesting. Hershey's the best team there. Halifax looks like they just sneak in at 15 or so there. And then like a couple other teams sneak in way later. But yeah, that's the NHL and AHL. Decent standings, not really terrible there. Dylan Colin, however you say his name, scores 64 points. How about our rookie, though, Taylor Nicholson, with 62 points as a 19-year-old in the AHL. That's pretty impressive. He can pass the puck extremely well for his size. So I'm happy with that. As far as the NHL goes, looks like Rodriguez is our leading scorer. Kajula gets 25 goals, so not a bad season from him either. But yeah, not a terrible season, apart from, of course, the goalies, who are just going to have abysmal numbers, but that is what it is, right? You're kind of expecting that. As far as top scorers go in the league, looks like Crosby. Is that really the most? 105 points? I have this on high sim engine scoring, so I don't know what's going on, but interesting scoring numbers. McDavid only scores 93 this year. Wasn't even injured or anything. Like Barkov jumps up to a medium franchise. That's pretty nice. But yeah, interesting group there. Matthews 55 is going to top the league. As far as defenseman goes, Dougie Hamilton 81, not bad. Nedeljkovic wins 39. Your best rookie skater is Lucas Raymond, who tops out Morrow and Dawson Mercer with 71 points, so pretty impressive season from Raymond there. As far as goalies go, yeah, okay, I already did that. And that's your league. Alright guys, so we're going to sim through the AHL playoffs. Hopefully we can beat Cleveland, but Cleveland did finish top of the division. And yeah, we're out in not many games there, so that wasn't really surprising. But, you know, at least Halifax actually made a push for the playoffs to start with, which is pretty cool. Alright, so this year Tampa Bay and Cleveland win the respective championships. Alright, so this year Tampa Bay would end up going through Carolina, Detroit, the Islanders, and Minnesota. And then in the AHL, Cleveland would end up beating, of course, Halifax, our AHL team, then Rochester, Providence, and Manitoba to win the Calder Cup. Alright, so looking at team awards this year, and in the NHL, of course, Tampa would win the Cup and the Presidents, and Minnesota would win the Clarence, and of course, Tampa wins the Prince of Wales. Crosby would win the Art Ross this year, the Hart would go to Barkov, Hedman would win the Norris, Huberdeau would win the Lady Byng, Raymond would win the Calder, Vasilevsky would win back-to-back Conn Smythes, Varlamov would win the Vezina, as well as the Jennings with Sorokin. Hamonic would win the Masterton this year. Chicago's coach would win the Jack Adams. Bergeron would win the Selke. Barkov would win the Lindsay, and Matthews would win another Rocket. So guys, this is pretty much where we're going to wrap up this episode. Just looking at the draft, you know, hopefully we can win the lottery and land Shane Wright. If we do, that would be fantastic. If we don't, maybe we end up picking up a winger or, you know, another center like Lambert or Savoie, somebody like that, or even Conor Geekie. He would be a decent power forward, even though he is probably a year out or so. But I wanted to show you guys some of the gems and draft steals that we have found so far that look really good. The only reason Krasinski is pinned is because I know he's a medium top 4 potential, even if he's not, you know, doesn't show it right now. He might be a player we draft. Vikingstad's a 2-year ETA, so we could definitely get him in the second round. Vorobyov could even fall to the third round, which would be hopeful, but you never know. We might end up landing him. This Pitkanen guy looks amazing. He's a 2-year ETA, even though he's small. I'm going to assume he's a sniper just with that shot. Or actually, no, it's puck skills. Never mind. So he's probably a playmaker. Jeffries looks good. Or Jeffrey. What's his name? Hudson Jeffrey. Looks like a low elite, so hopefully he will be. And then Eugene Edwards also looks like a second round player we could potentially draft. And he's a 1-year ETA. So that's what we're looking at apart from the top of the draft coming up here. So pretty good group of players. I'm really hoping we land one of these top 2 centers. And, you know, if we don't, it's not the end of the world because we still have some steals, like especially this Pitkanen guy. He looks really good. So that is where we're going to leave it. If you guys are excited to see what happens with the lottery and where we're picking next episode and everything like that, then make sure to go down below, drop a like, subscribe, and hit notifications. And that is going to be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Z Tango signing out, and until next time.